I'm on the southwest corner of the Brandt's property next to the Kahlers, and I'm walking along the south fence. This is a fence that was put in by Brian Sponsler. If you look to the east, you can see it's pretty darn straight, you know, because this corner post evidently went back exactly in the same hole. This fence to the north, for as hilly as it is, pretty damn straight. I don't know how you get a fence much straighter than that. There are some trees that had wire through them that are on one side and another of the fence. The old fence wasn't exactly straight, and they run exactly straight line from here to the corner post at the center. I was here for the fence viewing. I helped remove the trees that were in this fence row, and the truth of the matter is my recollection is that the fence post in the center, to my recollection, it actually got moved back to the west. So my looking at it is that this fence is no way, shape, or form on the Kahlers, but I didn't build it. Okay, going to the east along the south fence, and I'll tell it Trenton. This is Trenton Jeans walking along with me. We're just taking a video of this south fence and the contentions that Mr. Brandt has made. This is an old fence post, so you can see that the fence pretty much follows exactly the old fence line. And this is a tree that's got a yellow thing around it. You can see it's on the north side of the fence, which would be Brandt's property, but it had to be trimmed in order for the workers to be able to walk along to build the fence. It's not trespassing to walk along, a foot inside of the actual fence line. This, I don't know if you see anything that I'm not seeing. And you can see, if you look at this fence, we got trees that are a foot or two away from the fence, leaning over in some places. No one actually damaged any fence line or hurt anything from walking here. That's about as much of a jungle as close to a fence. It's a lot closer to a fence than you'd actually want it. Oh, there's a tree back here on the branch side that's got a yellow marker, and looks to be 5-6 inches around, that has been cut off. Both the Kahlers and both Trenton Jeans and Mr. Kahler said that they didn't even cut that tree. I know I had nothing to do with the south fence because all I helped with was the west fence, but that tree, we don't know who cut it, but it wasn't anybody that's standing here with me today.
Why would he cut that?
Yeah.
Cut these little ones, didn't he?
Yeah, that's a good point. You can see here is a tree that's trimmed so that the fence could be put in. It's exactly maybe 2 or 3 inches away from the upper fence, the fence wire, and so there'd be no reason to cut a tree clear back that far and leave them. This tree is actually 6 inches from the fence line and was left so that it wouldn't damage anybody's property. This tree's been trimmed, you can see, so that the fence could be built. It's I'd say 5 inches from the fence post, and it's only trimmed up tall enough to allow them to get the wire by it. Here we got a tree that's sticking through the fence, and it was just trimmed back. You couldn't even walk on the other side of the fence no more than it was trimmed. So this tree, I don't know what it is. Maybe 3 inches around to 1 inch around. It's got a stake in the ground.
Curved out.
Yeah, it leaned way out according to Trenton. It's not 5 inches from the fence. I mean, you couldn't have built the fence without removing the tree. And so, yeah, if you're going to put it back in and put prices on it, they're the equivalent of going to Earl May. That's really insane. It wouldn't make sense. In my opinion, I don't, maybe it's genius. This fence, this post, this tree right here, obviously right exactly in the fence line. I didn't take this tree out. I don't know who did, but you can see metal in it. So at one time it had wire through it directly in the fence line. Yeah, here's a tree that they've actually tied the tree back to prevent it from rubbing on the fence. Is this twig, but you can see the wire, the rope to hold it away from the fence, otherwise it'd be in the fence. And so, looking at this, and looking through the fence line, there's some brush here along the edge that was trimmed off of trees, perhaps, and I don't know who did that.
Dave and Gene trimmed.
Okay, this is brush that Dave and Gene trimmed along their south fence line. One thing that is, you need to think about is that the Kahlers replaced the south and the west fence, and in the process of doing that, that's probably the farthest point away from the Brandt's house, and yet they were, careful enough that they're running. Here's an old fence post. I mean, they're right on the fence line. Here's an old fence post again. They're right on the fence line. That's a
hedge post.
Yeah, a hedge post that they set. Here's a tree that's got yellow tape around it. It's been cut off. The limbs still stick through the fence, but it's maybe 6 inches. And you can see also, there's the old fence post, evidently. It's a good 8 inches over from the current fence. So the Kahlers actually gave 8 inches to it, pretty much in line with where that tree has been cut off. And now the new branches are already growing through the wire of the new fence. So, that tree has been saved. Nobody heard anything there that was not necessary to cut to build a fence. This, right in line with the current fence. This is a tree that's got a circle next to it. The limbs have been trimmed off to allow building the fence. It's not over a foot and a half from the fence, so you awful tight squeeze walking between the fence and it. You can already, Trenton's pointing out that this tree has been cut off, but it's already growing branches through the fence. Yeah, it is solely on the Brandt's property. It has been cut off, but it's not 4 inches away. You couldn't walk between this to build a fence on the other people's side, on the Brandt side. So I don't know. Maybe this is something that's really, it's the farthest point away from the Brandt's house. It has the least to do, visibility, and this is a 4-inch tree that's 2 inches north of the fence line. Then I don't know how it went up, but I think it's, trees that were a foot away from the fence line were left. And this tree is right in the fence line. It looks to have black in it. I don't know. But it would be impossible to build a fence and leave that tree there. And again, it's the farthest area away from the Brandts. Here's a tree outside the fence line. And I don't think the Brandts are objecting to the eastern or the southern fence line, but they are objecting to the north fence line, or the west side fence line, southwest fence line, and that was run directly from the south corner post, same hole as before, to the post at the north, which I probably already said that. And this is the southeast corner post.
I left him a hole.
And that's, what's that?
I left him a hole there.
Yeah. Mr. Kahler said he left a place to put the other corner in, and that there's a gap here at the end.